Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to the Men Save Your Marriage show. My name is Terry. I'm your host. I did an autopsy on my failed marriage, and now I use the lessons that I learned to coach other men on how to save their marriage before it fails. I'm going to share with you the things I wish someone would have shared with me before my marriage failed. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Hello, gentlemen. Well, you just heard the bell. You know what that means. That means that we are in the fight. We are in the ring, you and I together, and we are in the fight for your marriage. Today we are stepping into episode number 70, The War Against Fear. And we are introducing a brand new series today, coming out of that special edition episode last week. And we're going to begin today with the war against fear. So as I said, my name is Terry. I'm your host. I'm glad you guys are here. You just heard the bell, so let's get in the fight. Let's get our minds right, and let's work together and fight together for your marriage. In the last episode, I called you guys out. I straight up, I called you cowards. I told you the truth that most men won't say to you, that fear owns you. Some of you guys got angry. Some of you felt attacked. Some of you nodded your heads in silence because you knew it was true. But whether you like it or not, the truth remains. Fear is running your marriage. Fear is shaping your daily choices. Fear is the silent master in your home. And as a side note and an just as a kind of a thought about this, I believe it even more now than I did before I called you out last week, and I will tell you why. Because I don't know you by name. I don't know where you're at. But when I publish a podcast, I can see how many people downloaded it. And in last week's episode, I finished. My final thoughts and my marching orders were to you to decide whether you were going to lead, follow, or get out of the way. I gave you my text number and asked you to text me one word. And so I know what the percentages are of how many of you downloaded that episode and how many of you texted me. So I can say this with absolute confidence that fear is shaping your daily choices, and fear is the silent master in your home and in your life. This series is called The War Against Fear. And in this first episode, we're going to drag fear out into the open. We're going to expose it, name it, shine some light on it, and show you the cost. Because until you face fear head on, you cannot lead. So let's get into it. As always, I'm going to come at you with 3 main points, and then we're going to close this out and let you get into your day. Point number 1, fear is already owning you. Now, let's just stop pretending fear is just something that you struggle with. No, it's not. Fear owns you flat out right now. Just look at your actions. If you're honest with yourself, look at your actions. You don't confront her with her disrespect because you're scared of conflict. You don't initiate sex because you're scared of rejection. You don't make plans because you're scared of failure. You won't set boundaries with your kids because you're scared of being the bad guy. And you don't lead spiritually because you're scared of looking like a hypocrite. That's not leadership. That's slavery, gentlemen. Welcome to being a slave. And here's the brutal truth. The pain you're trying to avoid by hiding from fear, it's already happening. You're scared she'll reject you if you try to initiate, but she's already rejecting you by pulling away. You're scared of conflict, but you're already living in constant low-level conflict that never seems to end. You're scared of failing, but your passivity is already failing your marriage. Fear promises to protect you from pain, but it delivers the pain anyway. Just be honest with yourself. You know you're already living with it. And if you don't face this truth, you'll keep living as a man owned by fear. Now, point number 2, fear shows up in patterns. And this is important for you to understand so you can begin to recognize this. And maybe you've never had somebody say it this plainly. Maybe you've never had it drawn out so specifically in your life or kind of put on blast for you. But fear shows up in patterns. It's not random. It's predictable. So let's just name a few of the primary patterns I see in the marriages that I am helping men deal with right now. One, fear of rejection. You want connection, but you don't reach out. So you'd rather stay silent than risk a no, so the distance grows between you two. So fear of rejection, that's one pattern. Fear of conflict. You're tired of the arguments and you don't want them. So you swallow your words, you avoid, and the disrespect keeps happening because you've trained her that you won't confront. So there's fear of rejection and there's fear of conflict. And there's a couple more here. Fear of failure. You don't want to look weak, so you don't lead. You kind of shrug it off, whatever you want. You think you're keeping peace, but you're handing her the burden of leadership because your fear is a failure. And the last one, a fear of truth. You don't want to admit how bad it is, so you pretend. You hide behind work, hobbies, screens, and every day the rot spreads deeper. You see, when you start naming these patterns, you see how fear has been directing the script of your life. You think you're choosing, but you're really not, are you? No, fear is choosing for you. And it's important, gentlemen. Here's why this matters. Your wife feels it. Women are finely tuned to a man's presence. She feels your hesitation or your weakness or your passivity. She feels it all. And she may not always say it, but she knows. And every day you let fear run the show, her respect for you dies a little more. So that was the fear, how fear shows up in patterns. And finally, point 3 is the cost of fear. So we've kind of drug it out into the light. We've shined the light on it, and we've named it, and we've shown you some patterns. But now let's talk about the cost of fear. You see, fear is not free. You're paying for it every day. Fear is costing you your wife's respect. She looks at you and sees hesitation. She sees silence. She sees a man who won't lead. It's costing you her respect. It's costing you intimacy because a woman cannot desire a man she doesn't respect. I told you last week, she can love a man she doesn't respect, but she cannot desire him. Love can hang on, but desire dies. And once desire dies, sex becomes mechanical or it disappears altogether. Fear is costing you that intimacy. You need to understand that. And fear, not always, but sometimes could be costing you your children because they watch you avoid or stay silent. They watch you hand leadership to mom, and they learn what manhood is from your example. And fear, above all, the most important cost, fear is costing you yourself. Every day you obey fear, you lose a piece of your self-respect. You hate yourself a little more. You feel a little bit smaller and a little bit weaker than you did yesterday. Fear is costing you yourself. And if nothing changes, fear will cost you your marriage. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually, because no woman will follow a man owned by fear forever. That's the cost, gentlemen, and you're already paying it. So let's get real as we start to wrap up here with some final thoughts. You've been listening to me for months. You've been nodding along. You've been downloading. You've been consuming. But have you acted? Have you genuinely acted? Most of you have not because fear owns you. And until you face it and until you admit it and until you name it, nothing changes. This is the first step in the war against fear. Exposing it, seeing it, naming it, and admitting it. Because once you see it, once you know how much it's costing you, you cannot hide from it anymore. So, here's some marching orders for this week. And here's what I want you to do today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. I want you to write down the ways that fear owns you. Name them, just like we just did in this episode. Name them. Put them down on paper. Don't hide from them. And then I want you to pick one, just one, and I want you to act against it today. So if you're scared of conflict, maybe you calmly confront her on something. If you're scared of rejection, maybe you initiate intimacy anyway. If you're scared of failure, maybe you go ahead and make a plan for Friday night. And don't give her an option. Just be ready at 7. We're going to dinner Friday night. Make the plan if you're scared of failure. And if you're scared of responsibility, just grab it by the reins and make a decision. Don't pass it off to her. Don't tell her whatever she wants is fine with you. Just tell her, no, I want to do it this way. Okay? This is how you begin to reclaim your dignity, your self-respect, and maybe her respect and your marriage. One act of leadership today in the face of fear. That's your instructions. That's what you need to do. When you've done it, text me at 812-648-3380. And just tell me, Terry, this is how fear owned me today, and this is what I did. That's how I'll know you're not just listening. That's how I'll know you're acting, you're moving, you're leading, you're taking control of your life. Gentlemen, fear owns you right now, but it does not have to. All you have to do is act. All you have to do is to make the decision and stand up and take action today. All right, thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I will see you next week. In the meantime, have a good day, and I look forward to hearing from you by text.